All right, welcome to podcast number 7, I believe, for the North Georgia Advocate. I'm here with Viral, and we got a lot to get into. We haven't been on in about 10 days because there's been so much going on. We wanted to try to do one podcast to include everything, that's been going on instead of having one and then something else come out the next day or the day after, and we're not, and it's a little while to get into it. There's so much going on, Viral. I mean, where do we start with all this?
Yeah, there hasn't been a dull moment in a while now.
No, I mean, it seems like when one thing ends, another, more corruption or more shenanigans pops up out of, it's not out of nowhere, but it's just kind of, it's like they're trying to get it all in by the end of the year so they can start in January pretty much with a clean slate.
Yep.
And
yeah, there's just a lot that's been going on thanks to our fellow citizens in Hall County. So it hasn't been a dull past couple of months.
Yeah, and you can bank on it, and you just hit on it. It's because of the citizens and people stepping up, going to the meetings, emailing the commissioners, and doing things that this stuff's happening. This corruption's been going on for years. It's just now being brought to light.
Yep.
It's like the corruption with the planning commission. I've got the report posted in our Facebook group in its entirety, and they found between at least five and possibly 7 separate meetings that were illegal, and they only went back a year.
Yeah.
Imagine if they went back 2, 3,
several years,
4, 5 years or more. There's no telling how long this has been going on.
Yeah.
And I've heard rumblings of people seeing the Board of Assessors and other groups having these meetings too, with 3 or 4 in a room together. That don't mean they're doing anything wrong. They could just be in there chit-chatting about the weather. But it just doesn't look good,
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's just optics. The optics. I mean, when you got social media in today's age, and people already have a lot of distrust in the government and institutions as a whole, and then you get a lot of pushback from local officials whenever you ask for more transparency, and then you get caught doing something like this. It just, it's not, optics aren't good.
Well, and we're not talking about seeing them at lunch together, or I mean, there's nothing wrong with a bunch of the commissioners or people that know each other go eat lunch together, because if you're on something for this many years, naturally you can probably develop friendships. I mean, and that's not what we're talking about. Oh, we seen them eating at Texas Roadhouse or somewhere.
Yeah.
No, this is not what we're talking
about. That totally, I mean, it's still, the optics even on that too would look not great, but we're having dinner. That's like plausible defense right there. Like we're just having dinner. We're having lunch. We're not doing anything.
Yeah. Say if your wives are with them, say, hey, our wives are good friends or whatever,
Yep.
But this ain't that's not what we're talking about. And they said the report was kind of telling that even as far up as Zach Crow knew about the meetings, which Zach denied in the report. But all the other people that they interviewed, the planning staff, said that he knew about it.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I would imagine, I think the reports mentioned that Beth Garman, who's just recently resigned, had mentioned a couple of times where she had also mentioned to the commissioners that, hey, this, we got too many commissioners in here, et cetera, and it just got brushed off or something like that. Like he's just sitting in, not participating or something like that. So I would imagine she would have probably told her boss or her superior at that point.
Yeah, and then Katie tried to say, well, Beth wasn't assertive enough. Well, it wasn't Beth's job to be assertive. She's not their boss.
Right.
They're not her boss. She
Right.
alerted them to the situation, and they just blew it off like, who cares?
Yeah.
Or made jokes like, oh, Frank's not here. Frank Sosby, it's his twin brother. You know, or, you know,
What?
playing
Does
it
he
off.
actually have a twin brother?
No. It's an
Oh,
inside. It was an inside joke they had with Castleberry and his wife before Castleberry died, according to the docket.
oh, I got you.
I guess, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to speculate, but it was probably she, you know, misconstrued something, and they just said, they may have played a prank on her or a joke or something. I mean, I don't know, but, you know, it was enough to where somebody brought it up to the investigators, you know.
Right.
And
no, that makes sense.
And then they all go in there and they claim that they never had that training to let them know what the optics were for what was considered a legitimate meeting. And
yeah, I think you can't be really negligible to the laws and claim negligence.
According to the Hall County documents and the investigators, everybody went to training in 2019. They've got their signatures, their documents, and, you know, that just tells you they either slept through the class
or just straight up lying.
And I don't think the county just went in there and sent people in their place, or they falsified the documents to say they went to the training.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were trained. They just didn't pay attention. They thought that the Hall County's UDC would override state law.
Right.
That's what Braswell even said in the documents. You know, and the UDC and local code does not supersede state law. You can go further than state law, but you can't go less than state law. You can't. They were under the impression if they didn't vote on anything, then it wasn't considered an official meeting.
I gotcha.
And
as far as the UDC goes, that's just a development code. What is? Well, are there rules about how?
They've got things in there to where if they do something wrong, what their punishment will be, and it goes into the outline. And
that's interesting. I thought it was just literally just a development code as far as, you know,
yeah,
you got to be this far away. These are your setbacks. These are your variances, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I didn't know that actually had anything to do with the planning commission and how they operate.
Yeah, it's supposed to have all the different clauses, because a lot of stuff can go on in these meetings besides voting. I mean, you can talk about a ton of things that can affect whether you approve a development or go against a development or whatever. And, you know, and these people, from what I understand, I had the documents in front of me about a week ago, and I can't find it anymore. But I think the first illegal meeting, you can get fined $1,000. Then it's $2,500 for the second, and then the third may be like $3,000 or $5,000, and then it just it doesn't multiply any more than the third level, but it can just
keep adding to it.
3 through 7 or 3 through 10 would be $5,000 a whack or whatever, and that can end up in some big fines if that's what they choose the route to go.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to be a minimal amount over the course of however many commission checks people have collected since then.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
I just hope the county taxpayers don't have to pay those fines like they do when say a cop gets found for negligence with the shooting.
Yeah.
Taxpayers have to pay those fines.
Yeah.
The cop.
That's a good question. I wonder who would be responsible for paying those.
Because the police
fines if they were.
See, the police union, they've got it set up to where the taxpayers cover any of those fines that happen, which is not, and the cop's not, it doesn't come out of his pocket. Even though he loses his
Right.
job and pension and everything, he's not actually paying any fines or whatever. And I'm wondering if that's the same way with these guys.
Wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, probably not. You know, it wouldn't surprise me.
But interesting enough, this past week they had a last minute. They called a meeting last minute to talk about, or I guess vote on pushing the investigation further or whatnot. For within 30 days, they got to have another report and an investigation from the outside law firm.
This will be a hearing.
Right.
They'll appoint a third party like arbitrator or whatever.
Yeah, but it'll be publicly displayed, as if I'm not mistaken, right? Like all the evidence and everything.
All the evidence will be presented in public.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they held it Tuesday at 3, because everybody involved had till Tuesday at lunch to resign if they didn't want it all this going public.
Yeah, that's interesting because you got Stan Hunt that's also running for office for the Board of Commissioners that hasn't resigned yet. So this is going to be interesting.
With his lawyer, guns a-blazing.
Yep. Him and Sosby were there in that meeting or in that hearing with their attorney.
And it's very telling that Billy Howell, the only dissenter on the 4-1 vote, proceed with removing or punishing the assessors. He was caught walking out with Sosby and Hunt.
I was at that meeting. Billy was just walking out, and they were just, all right, it's over now, so let's walk out too. I don't necessarily think they were walking out together, but I think they did speak to each other before Billy went further ahead. But yeah, I don't, maybe like not to squash that speculation. I'm sure there's something was going on, but I don't think they're dumb enough to be like, hey, like let's talk about this right here, right now, before after all this just happened.
Well, with the age of some of these people, I don't put nothing past them, honestly.
Yeah, he looked pissed.
And what's funny is they are so. Why put the county through this when they've got you dead to rights?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people.
What's a typical politician, typical political thing where you're not going to admit you're wrong,
And one question that I've heard that's been going around wrong is I can't find my report from the Attorney General either. I moved some documents around from a backup drive to my computer, and I moved too many things, I guess. But anyway, the Attorney General, everybody's saying the Attorney General is not going to jump back in. They didn't do their job. And the first ruling, which nobody liked, the first ruling, the Attorney General couldn't subpoena anybody. They couldn't subpoena records. All they could do was talk to the people involved. I mean, and they found no wrongdoing because you knew they was all going to go in there and lie or whatever, tell the same story or whatever. We know what went on, most likely. But the Attorney General did say, the spokesman that sent this, or the lady that was in charge of the investigation, said that this did not absolve them from any further actions in the other meetings that are being investigated by a third party. If the third party found out some wrongdoing, then they could jump back in if it was warranted.
So the AG only investigated the meeting in question that Jody filed for.
They couldn't investigate the others. It was only
interesting.
The reason is because now they would have presented all those meetings to the Attorney General at the same time. They could have investigated it. but they could only investigate the meeting that was reported to their office.
Interesting. I gotcha.
So now, if the county can't come to a solution, then the attorney general can come in and do what they want to, is what I'm assuming, because they did say that those other meetings, at the time it was up to 10 meetings. Now the third party said it's 5 to 7, definitely 5 and possibly 7. You know, I expect the attorney general to come back in. There's a lot of people saying that they don't think the attorney general is going to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that first one that just kind of like brushed off to the side, that, you know, even though there were 3 commissioners in that meeting.
Yeah, no doubt.
You don't find any kind of wrongdoing in that as a whole. It doesn't matter what they were talking about. You know, that's beside the point. Why are 3 of y'all meeting with the planning director and the staff?
Right. Well, and I'm looking at it like next year, the new election cycle will start in January, February. Well, we got midterms coming up in November, primaries in May, and the attorney general is not, and he's already, Raffensperger in his office is already on the hot seat still from the voting scandal and the voting machines and the Trump election and all that. They're not going to want to rock the boat, I don't think, especially since the Atlanta TV stations and radio stations have started picking this story up.
Yeah.
Then you throw the data center in on top of it, you know, because they did.
Yeah, the December 11th meeting for the Board of Commissioners is going to be a heavy one. You got the data center,
Cagle Road,
the Cagle Mill Road, but then you also got the 5111 Winder Highway on there too, that randomly came back up.
Yep.
Yep. So you got a bunch of hot ticket items on that agenda on the December 11th.
Yeah, that's going to be a 2 to 3 hour meeting anyway. And then you got to have this meeting by December 18th, I believe. And they got to have it within 30 days unless they ask for an extension from the state. And my understanding is if the county commission needs more time, they can ask for an extension, but the defendants can't, you know, the ones being charged can't, the county can. And with the holidays coming up, you don't know what's going to happen. But I think the county commissioners just want it over with, it done with. And when January rolls around, then they can take the holidays off. And then when early January gets here, they can start anew the best they can.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. But who knows? And I think.
How do you think that's going to go?
Well, I think this hearing is going to take between 5 and 6 hours.
This, the 11th?
No, the one for the commissioners.
Oh, for the planning commission?
Planning commission, because you got to look at all the evidence they got to present.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's 14 pages in that report. That was just a synopsis. You know, they're going to present all their notes. They're going to have all the witnesses come and testify. They're going to show all the videos. I mean, there's a lot.
You got to bring popcorn.
Yeah,
bring something to drink.
We need to try to see if we can get us a liquor license and set up a table in the back.
Right there, yeah.
Beer and liquor. You know,
this is something you got to sell tickets for locally if you're involved in that.
If they have it at a time when people, I don't know if there's enough seats in that room to hold everybody.
Yeah, I mean, you know, surprisingly, there was a lot. I wouldn't say a lot, but it was a handful of people in that meeting on Monday, Tuesday, whenever that happened, last minute like that. Yeah, and surprisingly, a handful of people in there. I mean, a few of the defendants were in there too, but yeah, it was interesting.
And I don't think they can start at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon and get it finished.
Yeah,
I think they may have to. My personal favorite would be, won't they have it on a Saturday so the public can come? start at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning and go till it's finished.
Sell tickets, lower our taxes.
Yeah, make a little bit. Dang, I mean,
this is a little bit better than Jerry Springer.
We'll have a 50-50 raffle. Let us donate $20 at the door, and the county keeps 50, and the one lucky winner gets 50%.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, let taxpayers get a little bit of their money back.
Yeah, there you go.
You know,
I like it.
I think that. How do I think it's going to go? Oh goodness, I think they're all going to be fired. And I think the planning staff, they're going to have to clean house. Depends on how far they go. Could we go all the way to Zach Croak? Could even go for as far as the county attorneys. I find it hard to believe that the county attorneys didn't know something. And
right.
Why didn't they stop it if they did know something?
Yeah.
Or why didn't somebody just go to the county attorney and say, hey, this is happening. What's going to happen here? You know,
I wonder how much of this potentially gets tied back into some of the real estate companies here locally too. So like, you know, I'm not going to name any names, but you guys know who I'm talking about. But not even just those companies too, but just, you know, specific individuals that are involved in real estate and how much of that kind of goes back. And
well, you know, it's going to have to when you got 2, 3, 4 of the people, you know, a lot of the people tied to it either sell real estate or sell insurance with ties to one of the real estate companies. And, you know, there's just a big ball of wax here.
Yep. Or they're a contractor.
Yeah, they're a contractor, or, you know, there's like Frank Sosby's a construction contractor. And I'm not saying he's gotten any work from the county or anything, but when you're in construction and I was in construction for years, you get ties to a lot of these people. And I'm not saying nobody did anything nefarious. I mean, it's just there's a lot of moving parts here.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going on. And how do you think it's going? I think they're just going to have to clean house. I
mean, from a outside perspective, as a resident of the county, none of this looks good for the county itself. But then, like, you know, again, like the distrust that people already have with every establishment in this county at this point. So yeah, I think the best scenario here to kind of for the county to wash their hands of that distrust and actually show the public that they are working for the taxpayers. It's not just a little inside good old boy club, or it's not a good old boy club anymore, and all the things to kind of right the ship at this point. I think you got to clean house, and it's not one of those things where you clean house and let stuff die down, and in a couple of years you hire these people back, or these people come back in different appointments. So like Richard Higgins,
right?
You know, he was voted out for a reason, and then now you're appointing him to the Board of Tax Assessors, I believe.
Yeah.
So, you know, what's the point of that? Why is he back in the swamp?
And it's just like always, Billy Powell got his hands all over it, you know.
And then, you know, and that's the other thing too. I mean, Billy's been uncontested in the last 2 or 3 elections, and he's been in there for a long
20
time.
years or something. I mean, you know, that's a long
time. But then he's you know, he's involved in real estate. And he's also on a board or something like that for the Gainesville Hall Housing Authority or Development Authority or something to do with real estate. So it's like how do you not? I mean, and it's not that they don't see it. I know they see the conflict of interest there. It's just like, hey, nobody knows about this, so, you know, let me fill my pockets up.
Well, and you look at Braswell, he's been on the
chairman for the planning commission
for 20 years, I think, and I think 18 of them or something is the chairman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, we've got to get term limits in on this stuff.
Yeah,
I think 2 terms is more than enough, you know. As I
absolutely.
understand, you can't get any. Sometimes you just can't get anything done in 1 term, you know, especially if you're like
Yeah.
Greg Poole and it's 3 against 1 on most of the stuff. I mean, and I'm not just saying Poole, I'm saying whoever takes his seat, and if they're not, you know, it's just going, it takes time. I get it. 2 terms is
Well,
fine.
and that's the other thing too. Even if they do clean house, you still have the commissioners are still there. The people that appointed these people are still there. So, all right, let me just go find somebody else that's gonna
And I've
do my
heard a
bidding
lot
for
of,
me.
and I've heard a lot of talk. I want to get your opinion on this too. I know we haven't talked about it. A lot of talks going around about them trying to recall Billy Powell.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't think they've got enough evidence, or what they don't understand what it takes to recall somebody.
Right. No, I mean you gotta have some pretty hard evidence that they did something against the public interest, or they benefited by doing something against public interest, or they violated their oath, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then and it can't be opinions. Obviously, it's got to be
No,
some hard
can't be
evidence that
opinion.
you
You
did
got to be
something.
hard evidence.
And then you got to get, I think, 100 solid votes from registered voters in his district to start that
Is it
petition.
100? I think that in Lula, I can't remember how many they had to get to unseat Joe Thomas, the mayor. They ended up
Okay,
only
yeah.
3 votes shy because 10 of the people that signed it was not actually in the city limits of Louisville.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah,
They lived
I think it's
out.
100. I think it's 100. But I know you
I
always
thought
want to get some more just in case some of them come up as disqualified.
they
So
tell you to get 30% more than what you think you need.
yeah, yeah.
But I thought it may be a percentage of the population in that district. Like, say, if you got 5,000 people in the district registered to vote, then you might have to get 10% or something. I didn't know how it exactly worked, but
I think that at the, even then though, it's like that second part of it, you have to have some serious
well, first you got to
to
get like 100, but then I think if you get enough to do that, then you got to go back and get signatures again.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to get more this time, I believe. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly how it works, but you got to get signatures twice.
Yeah.
And everybody has to be in the district.
Yeah, but I think it's I don't think it's gonna work out. I think we're just gonna have to wait it out till 2026. And
The best way is just to wait it out and vote him out of office instead of wasting all this time and resources on trying to recall him.
Yeah, a lot of people were actually surprised Stowe and Cooper voted in favor of that. The moving forward with the investigation and whatever else.
They're
But
not.
I'm just saying. I mean, their elections are coming up next.
Yeah, no, that's what I was about to say. Cooper ain't stupid. She's on the hot seat already.
Yeah.
And no way she's going to risk losing the election even more in 2026.
Mm-hmm.
And Stowe's up in 2027, I believe. But
that's the thing, man. Like if I had all these constant allegations come up against me and I didn't do anything, I'd be like, you know what? That's fine. I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And but clearly that's not the case here.
No.
Like again, the optics. I'm just looking at the optics and commenting on it. I'm not making any allegations that so and so did anything wrong, but at the same time,
I mean, how arrogant can you think? I mean, do you think these people are? And you could tell by their responses in that report, they still don't think they did nothing wrong.
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, they're not going to admit guilt. That's rule number one in politics. You don't admit you did anything wrong.
Oh yeah.
And that's the thing. We got politicians. I think Gibbs is literally the only one. He's not a politician. He's literally up there to represent the people that voted for him. So that's why there's such a big discrepancy between how he treats people during the meetings and actually gives them the time of day and all the things versus the other ones. And you know, Cooper, I've never seen her, at least so far, like get irritated or you know, be rude or anything like that, disrespectful towards anybody and during the meetings. Neither have I seen Billy do that. Greg, not really either, but Stowe.
Yeah.
But you know,
and I'll take my hat off to Greg. And Greg, he's never been a lifetime politician, but he's a preacher. And nothing against preachers, but to be a good preacher, you got to be a good politician as well, because you got to walk a lot of thin lines with different groups and factions and everything that go to these churches and go to these groups. And, you know, I mean, it's just, they kind of go hand in hand, you know, and because when it's just, that's just how it works in modern religion, and politics is turned into a pseudo religion by how people support, you know, and it's just
the other three that I'd mentioned though too, at one point or another. So like Greg, I believe people have an issue with the fact that he voted for, or he pushed through his own industrial deal or something like that, up 365, some warehouses, or he rezoned it, and I believe he didn't recuse himself at that time.
And he did some things, got stuff passed through before he announced coming running for office. He did it and petitioned the commission to get it through, and then turned around and run for office right after it, you know. And
and then, of course, you know, you got the real estate ties with Cooper and Powell. So a lot of self-interest right there too, conflict of interest, self-interest, whatever you want to call it. And then, of course, well, I'm not going to mention any names of companies or anything like that, get us in trouble. But anyways, you know, Gibbs is a retired fire chief, fire marshal, just out there, you know, wanting to serve the people that voted for him.
Yeah, and he's got a hardwood floor company as well, and he runs that event center. So I mean, there's really not much that tied him into the political world,
right?
You know, other outside.
I wonder how much of the whole ordeal with Hall County and how they screwed over first responders,
the firefighters years ago,
a decade ago or something like that. I wonder how much of that had to do with Gibbs running potentially, you know?
I think it had a little bit to do with it.
Yeah. And that was Higgins' whole debacle, right?
Oh yeah, and you know, and I know a lot of the people that were involved back then that tried to tell them, look, this ain't right. It ain't legal. You're gonna, you know. And I'm glad it finally worked out on the firefighters' behalf, but they should have never had to go through that mess.
Yeah. It's not. It wasn't just the firefighters too, though, was it?
No,
I thought
it was a lot of the county employees. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was the sheriff's department too, as a whole.
Yeah, it was a lot of people, and you know, when you got to cut, you don't cut people's pay and retirements and all that. You just don't do it. I mean,
probably like pensions too.
Yeah.
I think that was the big one. It was like what the retirement aspect of all of this was what was really kind of screwy about this whole thing.
Yeah. But yeah, I think they just need to drop all this recall vote and you know, let's get good candidates to run. Even if you don't recall him, they're going to appoint somebody.
Yeah.
They're not going to have time.
Well, yeah, I mean, election season starts in January. We're only a little over a month away now, so got holidays to go through, and then
I think the county usually has their qualifications and
it's March, right?
And how to qualify and all their fees and everything updated by February at the latest, because that gives you most of February, March, April, and early May to campaign. I mean, that's plenty of time in a town like this.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I sure hope somebody picks up the responsibility to give Norton, or at least a contested
seat in the
seat,
city.
yeah, for the city, for Gainesville City. Yeah, I hope I'm not the one that's gonna have to end up doing that.
Yeah, me too. I mean, somebody got to run against you know, and they just don't like it that they don't have a seat at the table anymore because of retirements and deaths. You know, they've got a whole young city council in there, you know, and they got a good city council. I mean, it's fair, it's equity. I mean, it's got minorities on it, it's got long-standing citizens. I mean, it's got, you know, and the county needs to get more people involved, and I get it. Not everybody can go to meetings at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
5
I
o'clock.
think then again, like, you know, Facebook and social media do a good job now. You got pretty much reporters that aren't reporters by career, but at the same time probably better than actual reporters.
Exactly.
That are out there participating and you know, doing the legwork. And yeah, so I mean, I can't wait to get Jody on here just to kind of talk about all of this with her.
Oh yeah.
And again, not to endorse anybody just yet, but Tyler does a great job of going through the agenda items coming up and looking at the discrepancies with the master plan and the UDC. And this is just for the county. This isn't for the city of anybody, but still.
Yeah, and Tyler's running in Greg Poole's district. And
right. That's a very
3
highly contested seat right there. You got a bunch of people running for that one, so you'll have I guess primaries.
You got Stan Hunt, who should drop out. You'd think.
Yeah.
Then we got 3.
But that's the thing. If you drop out, you're admitting you did something wrong, and that, again, I don't see that happening. So pending investigation, something comes out. Even then, I don't know that he would drop out, because again, that's admitting you did something wrong.
Yeah.
I would admire him more and give him a little bit more respect if he did resign and then just drop out and say, look, bro, you're 60 plus, you know, or I at least you look 60 plus. Like, go retire, go do something else. Why are you still hanging on to this power trip at this point?
At least we've got 3 good candidates still running. You got Steve Gailey's going to get in as soon as the new year starts. He'll file his paperwork.
Yep. And you got Shannon too.
Commission, and you know,
you got Shannon in that race too, right?
Huh?
You got Shannon in that race
Shannon
too, right?
Davidson's running, and Tyler Crawford. All 3.
So you got.
We got 3.
It's some potential good replacements. Yeah, it's some potential good replacements for Greg.
And with all 3 of those candidates, they don't have exactly the same visions, but they're close enough to where, you know, there's not a bad choice in the bunch for the most part.
How old is Gailey?
Steve, 66, 67 or something, you know.
Yeah, not to be ageist, but again, like, go retire, bro. Go do something else. Let the younger generation.
Steve for 20 years and 25 years probably, and him and my family, and he's running because he's sick of what's going on with the county. He needs,
and that's fine. I'm sure he's got great intentions and all the things, but again, not to be ageist, but let the younger folks start taking over, because they need to be the ones leading the way for the next 10, 15, 20 years, and then another set and another set, etc. Like, you're 60, you know, go enjoy retirement, go do something.
Yeah, and then hopefully we get more people running in District 1 too, because nothing against Corey. I think he's would be a great candidate. But if it's Corey, Mark Turner, and
Cooper,
there's not enough people to keep Cooper out of a runoff. You know, if you got 4 or 5 candidates, then nobody is probably going to get 50% of the vote.
Yeah.
See, and that's the key. In District 3, if stays in it, if you can just keep him out of the top 2, then you got it whooped. you know, and I'd like to see more people get in that district to kind of level the vote out a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's District 1, right?
Yes.
For Cooper, right? Okay.
And I heard Jill Cooper was maybe going to throw her hat in the ring. That was a few months ago. But I think
She should.
I think her last name could probably hurt her, because even though they're not related, you know,
They think it's the same Cooper.
you know how people are, man. They just vote
Yeah.
for. And I mean, and I'm not trying to discourage her from running in the least bit. I think she'll be a great candidate. You know, because she's got a big dog in the hunt. And, you know, so, but it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. They're going to have to announce a date soon, you know, and get all this worked out. And then I think after all this is worked out, you may see more candidates come forward.
Yeah, maybe.
Because
that'll be good though. I think the more the merrier. I think it gives people more options to kind of choose from. But at the same time, I think people still have to, you know, do a little bit more research and even call the candidates and ask them the questions and actually understand what they're trying to accomplish, instead of, oh, I saw a lot of signs for this person, so I guess I'm gonna vote for them.
Yeah, no, and I think a lot of it may have to do with who these people appoint to the new, if they do clean house.
Yeah.
Who they appoint. If they appoint more of the same old,
yeah,
it could rile more people up and say, look, enough's enough. You know, sorry, my phone's ringing. Stupid spam calls. But, you know, so it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. And I hope more people get in. It's going to cause about like 12, it'll probably cost between $1,000 and $1,300 to run for office. I think it was like $1,076 last year to qualify.
You got to raise that much, or you just have to?
No, that's how much your fees are to qualify.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And if you can't afford it, you can sign a pauper's affidavit where they'll waive the fees for you.
Oh, okay.
But naturally, you got to show your income and stuff, proving you can't afford it, or everybody would just sign a pauper's affidavit and be done with it.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept. What else we got this week?
We're gonna try to get a few people on before the 11th to talk about Cagle Road and the implications of it and the data center. Hopefully next week. Because I'm gonna try to get one more of these in before Thanksgiving holidays. And then another thing's coming up that's been pushed off is on the county meeting, on the commission meeting on January 8th, Brian Rochester of Rochester and Associates is trying to put a RV park.
Oh yeah, boat storage, 400 slips.
Yep. Gonna be a big development out Dawsonville Highway, off Sardis Road. I mean, why don't even wait till the freaking bypass gets put in through there and finished? You know, wanting 30 townhomes, 400 RV slips and boat slips. It doesn't say how many of each, but I think it'll probably be only about 10 or 20 boat slips, because the Corps don't give those out a lot, you know. And of course,
I don't think slips on the actual lake though. I think it's just like a boat and RV storage.
Boat and RV storage, okay.
Yeah, I don't think they're like actual slips on a dock slip or anything like that.
I know the lake's right there too, so I mean I didn't know for sure because it don't say on the plans.
Yeah, no. It's not going to be that.
They don't have sewer. They don't have sewer or anything. There's going to be 3 huge community septic tanks there.
Yeah.
Then you're going to have swimming pools, and you're going to have retainage ponds on that land somewhere.
I
And
wonder where he found that application, because I'm trying to look it up and I don't see it on the January 8th agenda or anything at the moment.
Crawford posted this yesterday online, and I was kind of shocked because I'd not heard anything about it.
Yep.
And
because I know exactly where that is. Carl Drive is like right up the road from me. So and guess what? I if I'm not mistaken, I believe that is a property that is listed by Norton.
that wouldn't shock me.
And I believe it's yeah, but I believe it's Will Cobb, if I'm not mistaken too. Let me check.
Oh, got that Will Cobb name again too, huh? But since Rochester sold their company to that huge outfit a few years ago, Brian's been in the developing phase, and anything he's bought in front of the county or the city, he's pretty much got approved for.
Mm-hmm.
And what he's done, that was supposed to have been a bigger, more townhomes, but since they put in the moratorium where you couldn't bring anything in front of the planning commission or the commission that had more than 30 homes or units in it, he shrunk it down.
Oh, never mind. I take that back. Sorry, I take that back. So that there's another lot right fairly close to where Rochester is proposing this one that Will Cobb has listed for sale. So yeah.
But yeah,
that's my mistake.
They redone it to where 30, and if it gets approved, and if there's still a moratorium, he'll do another one for 30 more or whatever. Mm-hmm. These developers are just, that's why when you put these moratoriums,
looking at loopholes, that's it for the time being.
You got to say none except single family homes. That's it.
Yeah.
Because this
and that now this whole planning commission suspension and all the debacle with the planning and zoning folks and whatnot, I wonder how much they're going to actually get done in that 6-month moratorium. Like how do we establish certain rules for these high density rezonings, et cetera, et cetera?
From what I understand, they hadn't even started working on the UDC, redoing it.
Yeah. It might just be like, all right, we're just going to do this just for the public's sake. We're not actually working on this.
After all this and all the language they're trying to blame on the UDC, it's going to have to be redone anyway.
Mm-hmm.
When you got all your,
honestly, it needs to be redone if you think about it. And I think this is one of those. I don't know, I don't know if it's the right terminology, but the chicken or the egg, because you would think you would want developers, engineers, local zoning and planning attorneys, developers, contractors, etc., to be the folks to actually like drive the UDC in a certain way, because they understand a lot of the complications with it, and the issues with our previous UDC, well, or the lack thereof, actually. But anyways, you would think you would want people like that to do it, and I think to a certain extent you do. But then again, you have these bad optics of developers paying off potentially and cutting backdoor deals, and like the commissioners being involved, and so all of that just looks terrible. And then the entire UDC that they did, you go back and look at who they mentioned in the Friends of Hall County that I guess helped drive and develop the current UDC. It's filled with those people. It's filled with the good old boy swamp, if you will.
Yeah.
The attorneys, the contractors, the developers. So it's just, again, it's just such a terrible look that I don't know if they don't notice it or what. Like, I don't know what the issue is.
Because they've never had anybody push back on it before.
Yeah.
And if they did, they would give them some bull crap excuse, and then the people would just drop it. Oh, okay, that sounds plausible, and they just drop You know, I mean, the days I think of them approving stuff like a couple of years ago, they had one meeting, you had like 50 or 60 people in there with pitchforks, and they still approved big subdivision down in South Hall,
Yeah.
And I think they're learning that's the days of that stuff may be over, hopefully. Or they're not going to be.
Yeah, it's a tough battle to really fight the developers when you really think about it, because when you have cost of land that's continuously creeping up due to inflation, it doesn't you can't financially make sense to build single family homes anymore, because it hits your pockets. And I'm sure there's some leeway there. I'm sure you can still make a pretty good buck, but it's not as juicy as you throw these townhomes on a 0.1 acre or 0.15 acre lot, whereas you have to give up a quarter or a third of an acre or half an acre per single family home. So yeah, that's the tough part in my opinion, and because then you can't make it affordable. I mean, you're easily pushing into the 300s, 400s, $500,000, which is, $500,000 today is the new, or the old 250 is the new 500 now. So, but
like we talked about a few weeks ago, is how the mayor in Flowery Branch said, I just can't believe all these people are mad because we're putting in approved subdivision with $600,000 or $700,000 homes. Mm-hmm. Well, those people in the subdivision next to it, they're in some nice subdivision. Those used to be $200,000 homes, which were pretty nice houses. Now they're $300,000 or $400,000. Those people's taxes have doubled. They can't pay the taxes. You throw in 50 or 60 $750,000 homes, that means their houses are going to be $500,000 homes.
Yeah, and I mean you're forcing people out.
It prices people out of their land.
Yep, and you create a lot of forced sellers in the market too. So I don't know if that's a good thing or not. But when people's wages don't kind of keep up, and I feel like we're kind of starting to see little trickles of it throughout our not even just the city or in the county, but throughout the entire country, where people are starting to have to force sell some of their properties because they can't even afford the insurance or the taxes on it anymore.
Well, something's going to break. Something's going to have to break.
Yeah, something's going to break.
We've got more homes on the market now than we've had in the last decade.
Yeah.
And homes are sitting on the market longer now than they have since 2015 at the minimum, sometime in some areas 2009, when the housing market crumbled back in 2008, 2009. So, something's fixing to give.
You still have these corporations that are coming in and buying them for cheap though. And that's the other thing, is like you're going to get this correction, but is that really going to be a good thing?
Well, yeah,
because then again, you're still going to have that issue of, you're still going to have that issue of corporations coming in and scooping everything up because they got unlimited money to do it.
They're eventually going to be maxed out. They're not going to keep sitting on these losing properties. They're going to have to start selling.
Yeah.
And that's why it's not always a bad thing when the corporations are buying up this stuff, because at least it keeps money moving, people moving into homes and renting homes, and you don't want them sitting there dilapidating, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I totally understand that, but that's again what I'm trying to say though too, is that's one of the reasons, in my opinion, that housing is so expensive, is because you have this artificial buyer that's constantly buying up, or this buyer that has endless amount of money that can just go in there and keep buying and keep buying and keep buying. Yeah. But eventually, like you said, something's gonna have to break though too, because guess what? They're paying $400,000-$500,000 for these houses, expecting X amount of return, and guess what? People can't even afford to rent your house anymore. So
right.
Yeah, something's going to break one way or the other. And I could see a lot of people moving in together into, back in with family,
right,
and kind of going back to that nuclear family model. Everybody kind of contributes and makes that burden a little bit less for everybody. So
And one good thing is, these corporations that are doing that, they're borrowing against their assets. They just don't have all this flush cash sitting around.
Yeah, it's just leverage.
And when they start
leverage on top of
losing,
leverage.
and when they start losing, they're eventually going to get caught holding those notes in their hand, where they're just going to have to get rid of them. And
you got another printing event potentially that's going to happen.
Oh yeah,
massive stimulus, massive bailouts, massive everything. So yeah,
that's what happened in 2008 when Clinton made these banks start loaning 100 to 120,000, 120% of the value of property, and giving mortgages to people that couldn't qualify and wasn't, because everybody has to own a home. You put them in these homes and they get these big balloon notes where their payments are $300 a month for the first 5 years. And then all of a sudden, they've either got to refinance it and pay off the balloon note, or pay off the balloon note with cash. They can't do it, so they lose the house. And that's what happened in 2008. And we're fixing to see that happen again, I think. But it's going to be in a different dynamic, because it's not going to be the balloon mortgages that we've seen. It's going to be, people's just going to be caught like builders used to get when they build homes, and they used to sell them in 30 days and they start sitting for 90 and 120 days. They can't keep paying interest on those loans till they sell, so they've got to fire sale them.
What the crazy thing too is, this is, and I feel like this is something new in this market right now too, where they're building full-on communities, full-on subdivisions and stuff, strictly to rent, strictly to just to lease. And they're not for sale, they're not for anything. It's just straight up, hey, we're building all these because we're going to rent them out. So it's like little mini apartment complexes, but with townhomes instead. So
and I don't think they understand that. I mean, I'm sure they do, but they don't. Renters do not keep up with the property. I mean, the majority of them, they don't take care of it.
Yeah. And there's a lot that I'm kind of keeping an eye on too, that people bought them once they've been built, and they're kind of just sitting around. They're not filling up as quickly as they were just a couple of years ago. So yeah, I think a lot of these investors are gonna start to feel the heat a little bit too when they can't keep up with the note potentially. But who knows? I've been saying this for the last like 3 or 4 years. Real estate's just so liquid that it takes a while for things to kind of fall into place, and the dominoes just potentially start to fall and stuff. So who knows?
And one thing that may hurt them too is, I had a friend who just moved to St. Mary's a couple of years ago, about 18 months ago. She owned a condo off Leadan Road near Hidden Hollow over there. She didn't own the land. She just owned the building that sat on the slab. So when she sold there was a clause in there that when she sold the townhome, a percentage of it went to the actual landowner. She got to keep.
Yeah, that's like mobile homes work too. The trailers. You own the lot, or you own the actual motor vehicle or the trailer itself, but you don't own the lot, and so you still pay lot rent, which is pretty much a property tax. Every month, which is.
I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah.
When I talked to her, she said, "Oh, I cleared." She paid like $80,000 for it and sold it for like $220,000, which was a crazy number. It was a really nice townhome, but I said, "Dang, I'd have thought you'd have got a little more." And she goes, "No, I had to give." She said, "I only own the actual building itself.
That's weird.
Not the land."
And there's a few subdivisions or communities like that here in Hall County that I know of, and it's a weird concept. I don't know why anybody would buy a house like that ever.
I wouldn't buy anything where I didn't own the land with it.
Yep.
I mean, who's to say that dude just can't come in and say, "See ya"?
Yeah. I wouldn't buy anything that the county doesn't own. We're
exactly.
Still,
the county or the state.
Yeah.
So,
well, Chris, I'm gonna have to call it here. I gotta go eat dinner. Go take care of the baby.
Is there anything else? Nothing else we need to get into? I think we covered a good bit. And
Yeah, I think more than anything, I think, you know, we the 11th fairly around the corner. I know we got Thanksgiving next week, so maybe the week after, let's try to get Jody on. I know she's got a lot of energy and time invested in the data center project, but then also Cagle
And
Mills
Cagle
too, which is like
Road
right down
and
the road from her.
yeah.
So
We'll
yeah.
try to get Jody on for Cagle Road, and because I don't know if she can do it next week because she's got family lives out of town and they come in for the holidays
Yeah.
and stuff, and you know, but she told us she'll try her best to get on, and we'll try to have her on. And next week we'll try to have a show out by Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, and then we can also.
We got anything coming up that we need to cover next week though?
Well,
I don't know about any.
We'll see if they announce a meeting or whatever. If there's anything that comes out, we may not have one, but we may. It just depends on.
Yeah, because I think it might be a little uneventful week next week with Thanksgiving coming up.
Yeah, so
let's see if we get any more resignations or anything. But like you said, I think if there was a deadline to resign and nobody else has resigned yet, then
yeah, there's a deadline. I think Tuesday at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
So, all right.
We'll see.
Well, I appreciate it, Vero, and we thank y'all for listening. And we'll be back, if not next week, definitely the week after Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. See you guys.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. All right.